take a step back to talk to you guys, because I'm rereading, and re-annotating I Wish You All the Best. If you guys are unaware how much I love Mason Deaver's books, well, this is where you get to learn. Like, I just had to stop to talk about this, because, like, the page was getting full. I will elaborate. This entire scene means so much to me. It's a scene where Hannah's helping Ben paint their nails. We're just discussing sexuality and gender and labels. And Ben's entire internal monologue. At first they thought they were gay, and then it was more like they're still into men and more masculine presenting people, but non-binariness isn't something you can tell outright. And then if they don't have a gender, being gay implies being interested in the same gender. And they go on to say they think of themselves as bisexual because they're interested in guys and more masculine presenting people, but then there are people who argue that bisexuality is only two genders, and those two genders have to be men and women. And then they've heard that argument so much that they just keep it to themselves, and that for simplicity's sake, they just say they're queer and have a type. And that's easier than explaining that they identify as bisexual, and there's less gatekeeping involved. Like, parts of this were direct quotes. And I just went on a whole rant about how, like, the discussion on how even in the queer community, people police each other's identities. And especially when you're a gender non-conforming person, saying you identify as any sexuality is so annoying. There are non-binary people who they just consider that, like, because they don't have a gender, that no matter what the relationship they've involved in will be gay, so they can just call themselves gay. There are some non-binary people who don't think that way, like Ben, and that's, again, both are valid. It's just different ways that we go about interacting with the world. Then there's the whole, you know, like, I feel like I'm attracted to this gender specifically, but also, you know, again, being gender non-conforming is not thing you can tell outright. And coming back to the whole, like, if there isn't really an opposite to my gender, then does that mean that I can't identify as bisexual or lesbian or gay or whatever? Because let me tell you, I don't know how many times I've had to explain how I identify as a lesbian while also being non-conforming. I identify as a gender-fluid arospec lesbian, and usually I keep out either the gender-fluid or the lesbian part when I'm telling people how I identify, because someone's gonna ask a question about how can you be a lesbian if you're gender-fluid? Like, isn't on the days that you, like, feel like a guy that mean you're straight? It's like, I mean, it's technically, but then does that mean that all gender fluid people just have to identify with a fluid sexuality? I don't feel that that's really realistic. It's like, my attraction doesn't change. I change. Like, how I'm feeling gender-wise changes, but my attraction doesn't. And honestly, lesbian was the first term that ever felt correct to me. Regardless of how you can argue why it doesn't fit, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you think that that term doesn't fit me, because you're not me. And there are just people out there who think that it's okay to tell people who they don't even know that no, you can't use these labels because things all of these rules that we made up. And then we go on to Hannah offering, like, well, do you think labels are pointless? And then Ben saying, I mean, no, they can help people connect with other people, and that's true. And there's two sides to it, of, like, there are people who just want to exist without labels, and there are people who really find comfort in using labels. And this book means so much to me. This is why it's one of my favorite books. I'm gonna die.